Okay.
The vernal equinox will be 2:01 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Thursday, the 20th of March, 2025. So Eastern time zone and over, it will still be Wednesday. Our inner temple is realigned to adjust to the positions of what is far. More than planets and stars, the humans are meant to push the primal fire. Water in all directions are not foreign to the beings of fire. Lovers and soulmates may prefer to call them gods and goddesses in the merger. Markers are passed in the senses and emotions of the environments of which we are chargers. From our very cores, we dedicate each wild abandon. Here, we join the secret community. We are functionaries of true divinity. In ways ancient and modern, we are incarnations of the assembly, larval as well of darkness and negativity. What will we be unsheathing? It's coming forth from the mouth of every sage. All hail the God of this world and age. Of this we are sure, despite the thinking of the enemies. They will stop being secure. Obscure as it may seem, we are rising in apocalyptic fervor. Out of mediocrity, we share the destination and the machinery. Another is chosen amongst the confusion. Alive or dead, does it seem to matter in this profusion? How do we make the distinction between naughty and stupidity? Corpses pile up with an undercurrent of transcendent psychic fury. Essential acts begins to form a unity beyond the cryptic communication is the opening to finality. And any thoughts before we continue here?
Um, no, actually, I was working on something for here in just a minute. The as in the distinction between the naughty and from stupidity. You know, stripping down like what am I trying to say?
You
If
know what I mean. The rebellion without a cause is basically the thing. The Trump fell is
mhm,
as well, I guess appreciated enough of the character, but as far as exposure to the literature, I still think it's underappreciated because
mhm,
it's an entity that's naughty, but not
mhm,
naughty because it's
mhm,
stupidity. So it's not just speaking
mhm,
offensively. It's
right. Mhm,
you know, but like in the story, like a lot of people, there'd just be a barrage of swearing when they wrote it. But this was wrote the story was written in a little bit higher class than just throwing in, oh,
mhm,
it's a naughty
right.
story full of swearing and stuff. But it wasn't, and it got the
Right.
point off even
Right.
stronger because it wasn't.
Right.
But what I mean, it just ends up being stupid and it becomes a fad, and you just forget about it if it's that sort of thing. This sort of stuff you weren't supposed to read as a teenager, and that's why you read it. Um,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I was. working like that into a poem, um, and seeing how like it could be broke down. So,
So our final with the yellow verse here, 41 and 48 from Matthew 21. They say to him, evil, miserably, will ye destroy them and the vineyard? He will let out to other husbandmen, who will render to him the fruits in their seasons. And what was the other one? And seeking, I guess it's 646 here. And seeking him to lay hold of him, they feared the crowds because the prophet him they held. So it's you got the parable of the vineyard that's taken from, and the parable is such that I guess some of the Bibles have verses and stuff that the others don't, but I think that last verse fits soon enough because we're talking about being an entity that is what it is, regardless of the crowd's approval. Like I said, the Trumpville story, aren't they trying to get away from stuff going on? So they're kind of beyond things, but they're, you know, and Mark 7:21 to 23. Okay, what's this one? Oh, that's 8. Far from within, out of the heart of humanity, the reasons of evil go forth. The adulteries, the fornications, the murders, the thefts, the covetousness, the desires, the wickedness, the guile, the licentiousness, and the wicked, the blasphemy, the haughtiness, the folly. All these evils from within go forth and defile the man. Well, the body is what it is anyways. And in the spiritual sense, regardless of what happens to the body, it's your own choices that you've made internally that matter. It's not that you're sick and you're spoiled or something like that. But the important thing also with this verse is, hey, it's what a person has chosen to direct themselves towards. So it's the choice. It's not just putting the blame on other things here. Because that's one of the most common things you find is it's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's the devil made me do it. It's like the devil didn't make you do anything. If the devil suggests something, okay, but still, it's still your choice.
right. Yeah. Like
I mean, imagine
one,
how it would be
one,
if what sense would accountability make if they could just show up at random and force you to do stuff and then step away and have you deal with the consequences in this world and not
yeah,
prove to anybody else other than you that you knew that the demons existed and you know and
yeah,
so also what people do as part of their evil and their service to the devil, it's also the sort of thing that they personally would do or not do. Now they can work on they're gonna change because of that, but again, it's what comes forth from the individual.
yeah. Or
And just like
hidden him.
when I finish this, when I finish everything that's on the board, um, I may repeat some of it towards the end, but I say, may this become our blood, may this become our flesh. I say it in the plural because I try to address these things like so other people can take part of me. It's not just about me. And if other people want to join in, that's whether by the video or whatever. And may it become our flesh, may it become our blood. So it's not some other hero we're taking in. It's our own stuff that we're bringing. We're bringing something in, and then we're going to operate with it. So it becomes a real world thing. That's the central thing. And the meaning behind the shield goes in that direction too. Um, is that it's a spiritual battle that we're taking part in this life, and to the finality. So to our very end, it's not that we have one experience and then we're like, oh, we can quit now because we had a certain experience. It's like, trust me, if you have those experiences, there's something more, and you don't know that there's you. Well, you. suspect that there may be something more, but there's something beyond that that,
Right.
or at least why give up on
Mhm.
the lesser stuff along the way? It's like,
Mhm.
and just be one of those miserable mystics. I had a vision once, dude. It was so awesome.
Mhm.
And that's, it's
Right.
like, but you're,
Yeah.
John 3:19 to 21. And this is the judgment that the light has come into the world, and the love of the men, the rather the darkness and the light that were evil, their works. For everyone that evil does hates the light and comes out not to the light, that may not be exposed to his works, but that practices the truth comes to the light, that may be manifested by his works, that in God they have been wrought. Now, one of the seer that has this, that can see, so the seeing beyond the body sense organs, that's the idea of God. They're, want to bring up the fact that there's a formula, and theps, it has a pitchfork. The form of the word is theps. It's not theos, it's theps. Greek has a lot of words you end in ps, n, s. It just varies. But there's that different sense of light. Like a lot of the cults talking about the black light.
Mhm.
And you do have to hate and love different things. It's not just, um,
Um,
and see, this is one of the things about love. The Bible doesn't really talk about, oh, we love God and for God, and it almost does none of that. If you look at most of the references to love, it's like this. Dude loved sex, dude loved evil, dude loved this, but love of God is not mentioned as much. And
mhm.
people who aren't objective with it forget that. And I think that's an
Mhm.
important distinction when they try to compare, oh, we're the love religion. Really?
Yeah.
And if you are the love religion, wait, what does it talk about? You
Right.
love the world instead of the things of the spirit.
Right.
Well, why can't you use both? Like I said, the bringing out.
Mhm.
If they really,
Yeah.
but again, most people, it's just mundane
Mhm.
selfishness that they're working with.
Yeah. Yeah.
1823, still in Luke, answered him, Jesus, if evil I spoke, bear witness concerning the evil, and if well, why me? Strikest thou? Now, one of the things that I should say about this is that Gnosticism happened way before. And so you could argue that the Bacchus cults were a sort of Gnostic thing, the Bacchus and Dionysian things, but not quite. So John's kind of like a Gnostic reworking the of a text about Bacchus, which is over 90% the same text. They just wrote in Jesus, wrote in a few things, literally a few things, not much. And
Mhm.
which makes it very suspicious. You think, wait, was there even a real person? It turns out there sort of was, but it wasn't who the Christians would have said. I'll make my point in my Satanic Jesus program. It's like, oh, so you can't say Satanic Jesus. It's like, well, in this context of the term, whatever. But and so we had the yeah, why deal with the thing then, right? If it was such a problem, why wait to have dealt with it?
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
and but see, he was dealing with a high priest. That's the thing too. So, well, one of the things about the Bacchus thing. So the sacramental idea. So the flesh, you eat a symbolic flesh, eat a symbolic blood, and that's available outside of, again, the Christian thing. It happened before. It's something whatever you use now. There's sacred meals all throughout history, the planting myths and all that stuff. Even if you're not eating meat, not drinking blood, not drinking wine, not eating bread, you still can use the the sacred slaughter planting myths
Right.
accordingly, right? Um, and oh, maybe I should just read at some point do a series where I read the Greek. Um, Acts 9:13. So yeah, I've been using like a reddish or purplish juice. I've been using a
Mhm.
whole grain bread, and that represents the consciousness work and transformation that's taken part. bodily. And it's in two parts, of course, whatever that means to certain people.
right,
9:13. Where's 9:13? Answered Ananias, Lord, I have heard from many concerning this man, how many evils he did to thy saints in Jerusalem. And of course, the thing is, what side you took in the past, sometimes you can change sides authentically. But people definitely questioned it with
right,
with Paul. But Paul wasn't his name, it was his nickname, so he's called Man of the City, which kind of implies, wait, who did he have to deal with? That he's called Man of the City,
mhm,
right?
right,
Did he deal with those desert communities, which we consider the Essenes? But remember, as I said in the other program, Paul required somebody to die to complete his story as far as the Bible's concerned. So, it's a lot more allegorical and
mhm,
stuff than people get. Romans 3:8, and not according as we are injuriously charged, and according to affirm some that we say, let us practice evil things that may come good things, whose judgment just is. Um, well, that's kind of it's kind of stupid logic, right?
right,
They do have a point with that. It's like, oh, like the people that say, oh, if I gamble or do wrongful business, I'll just give in charity with it. It's like, um, yeah, if it's a spiritual type of charity, no, that's
mhm,
not how it works.
right,
You've outdid your charity by your whatever, if you think that your means of getting the charity was wrong. Same thing with the other, like like the people that like lead people to what they think is wrong, like the people that will seduce people so that they'll end up getting married are the people that figure that they have to fornicate on the way to getting married, and it's like, not really. That doesn't work as well as people think it does.
right.
And some people's like, okay, well, I like you anyways. Let's do this thing. Um, and
Uh,
and and if it's a guy that's saying that part, it's usually, uh, I'm in the mood for it now, but if you wait too long, I'm not going to be. So I've heard of guys that have basically that's their story of before they got married. That's what they told their wife. It's like, we can get married now, or we can, or whatever, or you can move in now or whatnot. But I may not feel like it in a month or two or next year or something. So consider wisely. Um,
Hurry up.
Ephesians 4:18, being darkened in the understanding, being alienated from the life of God. Oh, it's the ooh this time, on account of the ignorance which is in them, on account of the hardness of the heart. Now, you do want to have a hardness resolve, right?
Right.
Um,
And
so, any
I,
any particular thoughts you want to bring up with the with the season and
um, yeah, it's usually I'll pick up like, physical stuff, physical, but mostly I'm picking up on a lot of like internal and inner thing that like the self, like the self must realize the consequences of its actions and claim the fault, of its own action and accept it. Um, it causes one to make better decisions. Um, so yeah, I'm picking up a lot about like getting really tough with the inside person, I guess you'd call it the within, the self. Um, yeah, um, that's like all through my notes. That some I can't read. Not that they're bad or anything, but it's just like, um, yeah, a lot can be done in truths that one faces. Just raw truths in themselves. There can be little hidden things within the self that oh, they're there. They're not
And I
necessarily
I
horrible.
know one of the things is some of the formulas
Mm-hmm,
may seem a bit broken at where they're at.
mm-hmm,
Some of the chants or the mystical items, but they apply to a wider thing. Like
mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
the merger or the birth or that sort of thing is the idea of the or spirit and matter totally merged and all that is the idea of the vernal equinox. At the other 8 points of the year, this is the point that makes that point idea the most. So
Mm-hmm,
the rainbow is not a symbol of some things that the rainbow has been attributed to in recent decades, and um, the fact that I lead these verses, people can agree with them, disagree with them, give them their own context and whatever. The
mm-hmm.
chants like this. Fievi Altazmabum Riorah Ilh Gam Mizkaz Ozirah Mizkazhu. It does refer to that night. It does refer to, I guess, the rest of the uh, you know, eighth of the year. It does refer to the various things
Right.
it refers to as a cluster of different meaning. And
Mm-hmm,
anybody who wants to pick up this stuff or any other time of the year, that's fine too. Um,
mm-hmm.
and just like and
Oh
and
yeah.
apparently there was a different. Now I think it was for a specific situation. So there's a different variation of the Satanic Front chant, but I think it was for a specific purpose, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe okay, it was the Blood Pact chant. Okay, that's what I showed on my graphic. So maybe I should pull up that graphic before we go. But Bambazriorah Zelmski Gvops Ish Ozirah has Lazu View Azoltsi Ahku Gizgiv Merker. And notice how it's a 13 word chant. And
Okay. Yeah. Usually it's like the 9 syllables or 9 words.
yeah, it's been nine. Some entities or things have gotten different numbers.
Mm-hmm,
And honestly, I don't know how that works. Like for
mm-hmm,
example, I may have told you how and this is from before, so I do use this knife in my satanic front based rituals. Um
mm-hmm.
Now not always, but this is the one that I use. Um
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've I've noted that.
but you know what I mean. I've dedicated very specifically
Mhm.
to that. And I'm not seeing the uniform, so let me pull up my uniform because I've done that. Uh, so we have this is not the chant that I was referring to, but this is the blood the blood pack one. So the entry into the self initiation ritual usually. I
Mhm.
mean, this is official but this is Satanic Front. My personal
Mhm.
chants that I've attached to it are my experiences given me for it.
Mhm.
Drungsazi Rugas Iligas Lil Riorah Ili Civil Zepti Vabi Zihlel Uf Nebanazet. And okay, so there's okay, the extremity or the border is Nebanazet. Uh, Vabi would be blood. Maybe we should go on. Uh,
I have a certain sigil that I'll be using in the on top of my altar area, and we'll leave it at that. Just a sigil.
Yeah, there's things particular. Um,
The physical definitely has its
I'm not
place.
sure about uh, there's this other chant. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Um,
Uh,
you know what I mean. So on that graphic, there's another chant too, but I told you what it is. That's the convincing chant, and
yeah,
I have
is this the
okay uniform. So here's the uniform,
one? There
and
you go.
so I have put patches on it. You know, that's it's not an official through the army, but it's official enough of a print, uh,
Hmm.
of an army manual. I have the SF handbook. I put a patch on a hat, and I put a patch. As you see, I've patched the uniform as well.
Hmm.
Oh, that's three patches, I guess, total. And I have specific boots and stuff like this, just like I have a um and so there's that. And another graphic that we may want to show is the one I used on the thing. So that's not as neat as I would like to have altered it to,
Hmm.
but
I
that's
like it.
close enough. So
Yeah.
so two types of pitchfork. In the Quimbanda tradition, we say those are the the male and female pitchfork in
Mm-hmm.
that way of use.
This would be kind of uh, easy, like to like take like a like a glue paint and put on like the back
Okay.
of a robe. Yeah, give me an
But
idea.
it's it's what I got for my personal workings. I
Hmm.
do use those dog tags. I do, so
Hmm.
the chant of convincing is Alerno Yelom. The choice between the snake and the dove. Lir Yezvomrmzem. Like mastering oneself, transfer of and in the formation. Agan the manipulate, transfer, the tension, the converse of the endorsed. I've done a separate video for this. Um, Bleep zawolioch wabazm ormsm milks riora to increase, to rise, and decrease with things the propaganda of the serpent, Satan, so different words for Satan, something like that. And yeah, you can continue. I just wanted to make sure that when I had it to share it.
Okay, yeah, I've been really busy scribbling. I'll try to read my writing. Um, Again, a lot of stuff is coming to me about the within, the inner. Um, Once hidden aspects within are plucked out uh, and worked through, um, it could help, like, not just like in one area, but like several different areas of one's life, practice, uh, thought, mm, even speech, which is something, sometimes I struggle with, to give it, things more of a flow.
Well, one of
Um,
the words that we went over, ruggus, is the Lesavuma word for a specific promise or pact. And that can be more than just the writing down of the things. One noticed with that one ritual that I shared what someone gave me. I kind of I edited the language, the English of the language a little bit, but I, you know,
like 4 pages of self, like, wow, what is going on? It's, yeah. So it'll be interesting. Um, once the rite begins, you don't necessarily know, what will come about, what can be seen, what's
I'll
going to be
remember
felt.
that Lil is the 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 black, the moon, the negative factor, and Ely is
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
positive light, sun, white factor. So,
Mhm. Uh, like whatever is hiding inside, and again, I just refer to myself, whatever is hiding inside, once that is found, and just kind of whipped into shape, um, things will just take on like a new turn, like a new life, a new spin on things. And I guess this is the strongest I've ever felt the need for like inner workings with the self. Um, yeah,
and
uh,
two words that
can't put it,
relate to that.
I'm blown
Uh,
away. I'm blown away. It's like it's like even like a heavy, intense feeling that I get just thinking about, you know, what what else could be in there, what else is in there that I need to fix.
and two of the words in that pack chant that relate, the bringing or the summoning is the iligus. So iligus is the same basically, and the drugz is the path or the road, but you notice that it has the same root
Mhm.
as uh okay, which word regarding death are we talking about? Yeah, the dead.
Um,
So it's still so the path either towards your death or you're going to die anyway, so it's like, but like I indicated at the end, it's like things just go on.
mhm.
And
I think,
civil is the word. Civil is the feeding or the attachment or the drinking,
mhm.
and zupti would be the extremes. I haven't found zichlel, zichlel or oof.
This is definitely like a serious, heavy feel. Um, definitely. And I'm also picking up like once things are found and the hidden things found, dealt with, worked out. Um, I mean, not only will it be like a better, leave things in a better state, um, it like changes will come quicker, like some issues.
Speaking of
Um,
changes, what's the if you say the tarot card of that night? I'm
mhm,
not talking about the seasonal ones. There was remember my system for the three of those. So Wednesday sunset to Thursday sunset would be the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is beyond the modes.
mhm.
So your
Okay.
consciousness and your actions, your steadfast or your Zichlel is the center. Okay, so that's one word we were looking for. Um, and
Oh,
of course
so
the
that makes sense.
season, you got the full, You have the Fool. You have the we have less than a minute left, so whatever you want to say about these cards. We have the Fool, we have the Princess, and the Ace of 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 Swords, and we have so we would have the King of Cups, we would have the Star, and I think that's all seven cards, right? Well,